Presentation experiments may be packaged into a single file called a secure package. Within each secure package, all scenario files, control files, and input text files are encrypted. In addition, any time an experiment in the package is run, all files, including stimulus files, used in the experiment are checked to ensure that they are unchanged. Securely packaged experiments can be run using a separate application called the Presentation Package Player, which provides a simplified interface for running experiments. Using secure packages is required when using Web Activation Licensing. However, they may be used any time the features provided by secure packages or the package player are advantageous. This tutorial will illustrate how to make a secure package and run it using the package player. After you have implemented an experiment, you should set a few settings important for secure packages. First, make sure the experiment name is assigned appropriately, as this will be used to identify the experiment in the package player. Second, enter author information on the Settings tab. The experiment ID is a unique number which identifies an experiment that may have multiple versions over time. A new experiment ID is generated anytime you create a new experiment or if you click this button. This setting must contain a valid ID if the secure package will be used with Web Activation Licensing. If you are packaging a newer version of an old experiment, you should keep the experiment ID the same. You may also specify if the status window is displayed when the experiment is run in the package player. If you don't display the status window, the package player will automatically run through all scenarios in the experiment, one following immediately after another. Since secure packages are ideal for running experiments at remote sites, also of interest may be the output data file encryption features to secure data produced by the experiment and the FTP feature to automatically transmit output data files to your FTP server. After you make these changes or any other changes to the experiment, you must save these changes prior to packaging the experiment. The packaging process will read all data from disk and not any settings or scenario files currently open in presentation. To package the experiment, select Create Secure Package from the Experiment menu. Secure packages may actually contain multiple experiments. If you are doing this, you may add additional experiments here by selecting those experiment files. Presentation will analyze the experiment to determine what files it requires. These files will be displayed in the top window. However, there are situations in which it is not possible for presentation to detect that a required file is in fact required. Therefore, it is important that you add any missing control or stimulus files manually. If any such files are not added, the experiment won't run. You may optionally use your own encryption key for the encryption of experimental control files. In rare cases where an output data file is read back in later in an experiment, you must use the output data file encryption feature, and the key entered here must match the output data file encryption key. The licensing options determine under what licensing conditions the secure package may be run. Normally, standard secure packages may be run on any computer system activated using a standard presentation license. If you select Use Only Web Licensing, you can prevent the execution of a secure package unless it is currently associated with a web license. The other options determine when and in what manner the package player will contact NBS servers to check for a web license if a local computer activation is not found. Next, select a location and file name for the secure package. By default, the presentation will append a timestamp to the name you enter. You are free to rename the file, but it is important that all package files you use have unique names. The Presentation Package Player is installed automatically when you install Presentation. However, NBS also provides installers that only contain the package player for systems on which only the package player will be used. The easiest way to run a packaged experiment is to double-click on the package file. This will start the package player and load the experiment. Click Run to run the experiment. If you had selected to display the status window, the experiment will run just as it would from within Presentation. Clicking Unload will display an experiment selection screen. If you run the package player from the Windows Start menu, you will see this screen at startup. The experiments listed here are those found inside secure packages located within certain folders. To see a list of these folders, select Change Package Folders from the File menu. When you open a package by double-clicking, the folder containing that package will be automatically added to this list. Highlighting an experiment and selecting About from the File menu will display selected information about that experiment. The experiment ID is the same ID visible in Presentation. The package ID is a unique number for each package file. Both of these numbers are required when using Web Activation Licensing and may be copied and pasted into the NBS website from this window. When a packaged experiment is run, the encrypted control files and the stimulus files are extracted into a subfolder of the folder containing the package file. Data files produced by the experiment will be saved in the same location within this hierarchy as the original experiment. When the experiment is run again, the package player will verify all files both within the package file and in the extracted folders, and will extract files again if necessary. Because the folder name for the extracted files is the same as the package file name, it is important that all package files in the same folder have different names. This is why Presentation appends a timestamp to your package files when they are created. In addition to the package player, packaged experiments may also be run using the Presentation Launcher application, the Presentation Control API, or Presentation itself.